Hello, my family. So today I'm actually in the process right now of making some homemade pita, and I do have a video on how to make this, but I'm not making them just to make pita bread. Well, kind of, sort of, I guess I am. Some of it I'm going to put in the freezer, but I have been wanting some pita chips, and I refuse to buy them from the grocery store, knowing that I know what's in my own food when I make it homemade. And I'm needing this for hummus, some homemade hummus, and some labneh. And I'm learning a new mix called sour cream and onion. I actually like that flavor, so I'm going to learn the dry mix to that and try it as well. But tonight we have a family of 7, and they're all wanting to eat. And I am learning to be able to, once again, I used to do this many years ago, but for the last several years it's just been me and my husband, since we were at one time empty nest. So here I am back to feeding for a crew. Many of you have families that are feeding for a crew. And so I am going to be preparing a meal in the kitchen, and I thought I'd take you with me as when I think about what to feed a family. And here's some ideas out of this meal. We are making unstuffed cabbage rolls. And so when I think about that, and I think about my pantry for the winter, because today just happens to be a very nice day, and we're only going to get a few more days of this before we go back to hot heat. I'm going to take advantage of it because it's teaching me on what's to come for fall and winter. So when I think about this dish, I think, what can I use from my pantry in here? Well, here's a few things. Some of you dehydrate your cabbage. You can absolutely use that in this dinner tonight. You can use your canned hamburger meat in this meal. You can use your canned tomato sauces and your diced tomatoes and onions. So a lot of this in this meal can be used off of your pantry as well. So we are making a big old Dutch pot full of unstuffed cabbage rolls. And I want to present a challenge for you. This is a fun challenge. I have a beautiful family member that I talk to quite often. And after speaking to him, and then speaking to some of you who have given me the replies about how some of the content that I have here have brought you back memories, such as the meat. So it got us thinking, and it just clicked with me. I thought this was a fantastic idea when it was brought to my attention, on being able to do a segment, I guess, or several, honestly. I want to do a challenge. So here's my challenge. I want you involved. It actually has to take you to help me do this. Name something, whether you took a cruise, whether you went and visited the areas, Jerusalem or Italy, Paris, any of these places. Name something you absolutely loved when you bit into it, like that meat, and you actually saw how people, some of the street food and that. Name something you actually enjoyed but didn't know how to have it, missed that flavor, would like to learn how to make it, and challenge me to see if I can find out how to do this, if I can recreate it and bring you a recipe that you could have it anytime you want. Seeing as how traveling expenses are hard to do nowadays, cruising is hard to do, so we have a lot of our memories. And I want to be that person to be able to enjoy having this with you. I am also looking at basically at Christmas time, a evening, either be Christmas Eve, before Christmas or whatever. I am looking to do a buffet with my family of Christmas around the world. And so some of your ideas will help present those segments into my Christmas around the world on our table, and that would be our buffet. I think this is going to be absolutely amazing. I am looking to do low carb Mediterranean Thanksgiving, and a lot of these that I am doing. What I'm also going to look into is, if at all possible, when I do these challenges for folks who decided that they like something and they want to be able to learn how to do this, I will see if I can accommodate both the low carb diabetic and the Mediterranean all-American lifestyle. So that would, and I will be the first to tell you, if it is impossible, I will tell you it's impossible. But I will do my ultimate best to make sure that I find a way to do this the best that I can. And maybe it won't be exactly the same, but maybe it's something you can enjoy. So I thought I'd throw this out there before we start our dinner. I'd like to do this challenge. I need your help. Give me some ideas of what you would like to learn, what you absolutely enjoyed, didn't know how to do, you would like to have again, and would love to have the recipe to be able to do this anytime you wanted. It's fun for me, because when I have made some meat, when I have made naan, when I have made some of these meals that I am eating, it takes me around the world and I don't have to pay for the trip. I get to enjoy this in my own kitchen. And so I would love to have this challenge, and there would be no greater gift to me to give to you than to be able to research that one particular favorite thing you've always wanted to know how to do. I will make a video about it. I will write that recipe in the description, and I will take you step by step on how to have this yourself. I'm also looking at content coming up of having a video of all natural chips. Your own potato chips, your own pita chips, your own tortilla chips. Things that are healthier for you, less preservatives, and something that has better flavor. These are the kind of things that I am looking for. I am a Mediterranean, less processed homesteader. I have always been this way. I do a lot of things fresh from the garden. I do a lot of things homemade. If I can bring this to every family possible, it cuts the cost for you, it keeps you healthier, and it brings more enjoyment to your family in flavor. This is the person that I am, and this is what I love to do for you. I am absolutely looking at doing a chip segment for you as well. And my family would benefit from it as well, because they would absolutely love to have a bowl of potato chips homemade. They would absolutely love to have a bowl of tortilla chips with salsa for them to snack on. So it won't go to waste. So without further ado, let's hit that kitchen and make our meal for tonight. Alright, my family, so here we are at the stove. Now, how does a family of 7 accommodate one meal that will accommodate everybody's needs? Remember, I kept telling you that on this homestead we are 3 different ways. We are Mediterranean, all-American, and diabetic. So how can we incorporate all these special needs in one dish? This is how we're doing it. I am going to keep the main dish itself, which is the unstuffed cabbage roll. I'm keeping that simple for everybody and everybody's needs. Where it becomes different in this recipe is this gets served over rice. Now, a diabetic can't necessarily have rice. Now, my husband could have Parish rice, but he would have to have a small amount of it. So more than likely he would eat his without the rice, or I would make that small amount, which I probably will do for him. Make about 1/4 cup, and then he can have this in a bowl, and that would be his dinner. That would serve the diabetic, or the diabetic also can have cauliflower rice if they choose, or no rice whatsoever, and just turn this into an unstuffed cabbage roll soup. So that is one way to accommodate just by the base for anybody who is diabetic, like my husband. Then there's the Mediterranean. Now the Mediterranean would stick to more whole grains if they were going to use a rice. So basically, just plain old white rice would not suit me, and that's what I am. I am Mediterranean. So I will do a separate dish or separate pan, small amount of wild rice. And so that will accommodate me. So now I'm going to have a pan of wild rice and a pan of Parish low glycemic rice for my husband. And then there's the rest of the family of 5. They are the All-American. Now they will have a dish for themselves that will accommodate enough for their family to use regular white rice. So our main, all we're doing is changing up the rices in our family, and everybody gets to eat basically the same thing with just the secondary change. That's it. So what we're going to start with is about 1.5 pounds, because I'm making a big area for this, for a big large family. I'm doing 1.5 pounds of ground beef that I am going to be frying up. Get all of my meat out of here. Jumped out of there. And then this right here. Get this cooked up. We have over here a medium head of cabbage that we cut into chunks, and that is set aside. Now, how you can make this meal in less than so many minutes to make it easier and quick, you can actually take the cabbage and boil it in boiling water, tenderize it for about 5 to 7 minutes, strain it, and then be able to add it to your dish after it's cooked. Or you can do like I'm fixing to do and slow cook this. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started cooking up, and then I will come back with the rest of the ingredients to get this to slow simmer for the rest of the day, and I'm going to add my cabbage to it as well. Okay, so I have browned my ground beef. The leaner the better, but frankly these days we all do what we can do. So I took and strained it out, and I replaced that fat with a healthier fat of olive oil. Now I'm going to be adding about 3 cloves of nice sized minced garlic to this. I'm going to be using 1 small chopped onion, adding that to this dish. Besides the rice, it's basically a 1-pot meal. Now these will be good for fall and winter when it comes time to using a slow cooker as well. Now I'm just going to stir this all in here. I'm going to go ahead and add some of my salt and pepper to it now. Season this meat. I'm using, like always, my Himalayan sea salt. I actually need to get me some kosher salt. I'm about out, so I'm going to have to start getting me some more of that soon too. Alright y'all, so now we've got this. Cook this down just a little bit, and then we're going to go into the rest of our ingredients. Now this is going to be more like a Mediterranean style. You can at this point just use salt, pepper, any other type of seasonings. You can use thyme if you want to, some oregano if you wanted to, but I am going to go a little bit on the Mediterranean side with this one. It's still the unstuffed cabbage rolls, but with a twist. So at that point, with that being said, I am going to be using a little bit let's see here, some allspice, some cumin, some dill, and parsley. Now I could use fresh, but I don't currently have it, so I'm going to be using the dried version. And I will put this recipe, it's from the Mediterranean dish. I'm going to go ahead and give you that recipe as well to her dish here, and we'll see how it tastes. So I'm going to go ahead and get the parsley, the dill, allspice, and cumin. We're going to be using one 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes and a can of tomato sauce. Now, if you had it in your pantry, I'm actually saving mine. So you could use your own fresh 16-ounce jar of tomato sauce and diced tomatoes in this. You could have used your own, I'd say, about a quart of ground beef for this, for a family. And then your small onion, your medium-sized head of cabbage, your 3 cloves of garlic, some olive oil, and that's pretty much it besides salt and pepper. So let me go ahead and get my seasonings and we'll be right back. Okay, so go through, I'm fixing to have to do this too before winter comes, as I'm going through my seasonings and looking what I am low on and making a list of what I need to stock before winter. So I need 1 teaspoon of cumin for this. I need 1 teaspoon of allspice. It calls for a 1/2 cup of fresh dill and a 1/2 cup of chopped fresh parsley. I don't have that, so I am actually going to use mine by tablespoons because this is now concentrated. This was fresh and it was naturally dehydrated from my own home. So I'm going to use about a tablespoon and a half of the dried dill, the same amount that I'm going to use in parsley. Again, this is from fresh parsley that was dehydrated for my own personal use and not store-bought. And that is it as far as our seasonings. Now I'm going to blend this all together in here. Oh, y'all, that smells so good. And again, you do not have to add these seasonings. This is actually optional. There's several ways you can do this. You could just keep it simple, like you were making your own. If you didn't want to use tomato sauce or anything like that, you can literally just put V8 juice in here and make that as your tomato base and turn it more into a soup. So these are just some ideas. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up these cans and put that into my mix next, and we will be right back. Okay, my family, so now we've got 2 cans of tomato sauce. Now mind you, this is for big families, so you can always welcome to cut it down. In the original recipe, it's only 1, so. And when I give you the recipe in the description, it will be for that 1 amount in this thing. So that way there's no confusing. I actually did not plan on making this much. I was asked if I could. So I decided to go ahead and do that. Do not strain your diced tomatoes. You need to add that to this as well. Now we're going to mix this all together. Just like so. Add some more salt and pepper to flavor, to your liking basically. I'm going to add just a little bit of water to this, about anywhere from a 1/2 cup to a 1/4 cup of water. So I'm just going to go with the minimal 1/4 right now and see what that does. I might go just a little bit more. Stir that up. It's really not a hard dish to make. I can't wait to start canning up that chili, because that chili's starting to taste or sound really good. I'm also looking into some chicken chili to can. I don't know if it's possible, but we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and try this and taste it. Ooh, yum. Y'all, this is good. Okay, so we're going to let this simmer now. And while it's simmering, I'm just going to go ahead and just add my cabbage to this and let it cook, because it will soften in here as I slow cook it. So we're just going to go ahead and get this cabbage blended up in this. Pour the rest of that in here. Well, that one did not want to break very easy. And actually stuff like this does it on live camera, right? Okay. I could edit this, but why? Alright. We're just going to throw the rest of this in here, put this on simmer, put a lid on it, and let it go. When the boys come home, or the guys come home from working tonight, dinner will be ready and be put on the table. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and work on my pita chips that I've been doing. And I might just go ahead and add that in here, show you how do I do my pita chips. I think that would be a good one to add to this content, in case those of you who want to try that on your own. Like I said, I do have a video out here already made up of the homemade pita. I don't ever, since I started making my own, I don't ever buy them anymore. Personally, I don't like the flavor from the store. I can taste the difference, especially after smoking. Definitely taste so much difference in flavor in food. So I'm just going to put this on simmer on a low. I'm going to go put my lid on top of this as soon as I find out what I did with it. Right here. And that's it. Now, I will be back with the pita as soon as it has risen. Okay, y'all, so I had made my pita earlier, and it has now doubled in size. So I'm actually going to just go ahead and finish this. I have what's called a kamal over here, and it's heating up. And I will bring you closer to that as it gets time to heat these up. So right now, I'm just going to actually form this into a nice flat base, and I am looking to cut these into 7 to 8 pieces. So I'm just going to cut them. I'm using a pastry cutter for that. And then each one, I'm going to do 8. I could easily get 8 pitas out of this, so just like so. Now I'm going to also go ahead at this point and take these and turn them into a ball. So I can get here where you can see it. So I'm going to take the outer edge and roll it into itself, catching it at the bottom like so, folding it in, rolling it, and now I have a beautiful size ball. So I'm going to put that in here and turn my kamal down. And I'm wanting this kamal heated up with no oil. So we're not using anything but a dry heat for these. I'm just going to turn around and form each one into a ball, and then I'm going to cover it and let that rest for 10 minutes. Meantime, I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. This way I'll make it easier to roll. Again, I'm just going to keep turning these into themselves, just like so. Rolling it onto my board. Going on to the next. Guess I've been doing these for so many years, it just doesn't take much to learn how to do this. And I know it seems like there's a lot of work to do this, but on a weekend, if you think about it, for those of you who don't have time during the week to do this, the weekends you can set aside and make up a bunch of things, prepared meals, like make up a bunch of these, and you can freeze them and use them during the week. You can make up a bunch of chips. Again, you can also freeze those chips, heat them up later, use them whenever you want a snack. So, I mean, there's just so many ways of being able to still accomplish all of this, even if you do have a job and you're working during the day, and you're not like me, who I'm just going to say fortunate enough to be able to stay at home to do this for a large family. So, but this one here is mine because I don't choose. The kids, the rest of our family, the grandkids and our kids, they'll pretty much, they don't look at things like we do, so they pretty much get whatever they want. I am more cautious about what we eat, so, and hubby can't eat these, but I can do a low carb tortilla with him and make pita chips. So anyways, right now I am setting these aside after turning them into a ball. I've got 8 different ones, getting ready to roll them out. I'm going to set aside and let these rest for 10 minutes. Now, I am going to tell you, I'm not sponsored by none of this. I'm just based by my opinion. When it came to rolling pins, I have tried them all. I have a marble one. It's absolutely amazing, but heavy, very, very heavy. Makes great for pie crust and stuff. And then I had the cheap, all the way down to the Dollar General ones with the rolling and all that, and they were warped. You know, this one right here doesn't have all that fancy stuff, y'all. It's very simple, and I'm learning that when it came to certain things in my kitchen, simple is amazing. I love this thing, and I don't know if anybody else has one. I like to even have one even smaller, but I absolutely love this thing. I have a lot more control over my tortillas and my pitas than I have ever had before. So if you've had one of these type, let me know what you think about it, and let me know if there's different sizes too besides just this one side. And if there's not, I'm still happy with this, but I'm gonna hear what your experience are. So I'm gonna wait my 10 minutes, and as soon as these are finished, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this process. While I am waiting on the pita to rest for 10 minutes, I thought I'd also let you know the upcoming things coming up. As the temperature starts changing, and a lot of it is, I'm bearing through the heat anyways, so I'm also looking at things to put in the freezer for me whenever I feel like I want a quick treat too. So I have some biscotti recipes that are coming up. I love Italian cuisine, and biscotti is absolutely amazing. I am doing an almond anise flavor very soon. I want to adventure in, but it was one I will be very, very particular on how often I eat it, is like a turtle with a chocolate, caramel, and pecan. Oh, Lord have mercy, y'all. It is so good. So I will be doing some episodes with some biscotti. Another one that is my ultimate favorite. There's actually 2, and those are basically for Christmas. So you will find me doing small batches of pizzellis and krumkake. Krumkake is kind of like a pizzelli. It is a Norwegian cookie that I have grown to absolutely enjoy. So I look forward to doing that every year. I have the iron press and so many things that I will bring to you. I guess I'm not your ordinary homesteader. I'm the type of homesteader, yes, I live a farmstead life. I live a farm style life, but I love the world of all over the world. I love cuisine from all over the world, and so I guess that's what makes me also unique, is because the things that I can present is so much different than just the ordinary. You never know what's going to come for me. Very honestly, I'm full of surprises, and I kind of like that about myself. I am absolutely full of surprises. So I'm almost done waiting on this 10 minutes and we will get back to being busy. Okay, so our 10 minutes is up. Now I'm going to take one of these balls here. I lightly floured the surface with flour. And now I am going to roll these out to about 8 to 9 inches round. If you find that during your rolling process that your pita tends to bounce back, let it rest some more. So right now, to get my perfect, or not perfect, but my circular, I press it out with my fingers first, just like so, and then I will roll this up. So I have some flour that I have reserved. I just sprinkle on top so it does not stick. Sprinkle it here, rub it on this, and now I will roll out my pita. Turn it over. I need it about a 1/4 inch thick and 8 to 9 inches round. So I'm going to roll this out, and once I get it out to the circumference that I need, I will be back and show you what we'll do with this afterwards. Okay, so now we've got this rolled out to about 8 inches, and now I'm going to put this on the hot camal. This is not oiled, so it just goes basically on top of my camal, and I am going to let this heat up just a few minutes, and then I'll be turning it again, and then we're going to wait till this puffs up like a pillow. So I'm going to go ahead and cook this for just a few minutes, and then once I get this cooked on this side, I'm watching for bubbling on the top here, and I think I'm going to bring you closer so you can watch this. I brought this in just a little bit closer so that you can see the bubbling that's happening here. This is what we're looking for. We're going to wait 1 to 2 minutes, and then we're going to turn around and flip this. Okay, so now we're going to turn around and flip this on over on that side, and do you see it puffing up just like this as a pillow? This is what I'm looking for. I want that pillow shape to start happening. Again, 1 to 2 minutes or 30 seconds on that first round. So yeah, come on, finish the rest of the way with those pillows. I'll be flipping it around again as I work with this. Turn this up just a little bit more. Don't want it too hot though. Usually the first one is the hardest. After you get through a few of them, they start getting better. It doesn't mean though that they're not useful. They are very much useful. So the only thing is with these is if they do puff up, you have a tendency to have a layer that you can actually make a pita sandwich out of it. So I kind of like when those pillow up like that. That's actually what I prefer to look for. And then when I make my chips, I can actually peel them apart and have 2 layers and make my triangle shapes out of that. And that's when I'll either be air frying them or deep frying them, either one I choose to do. Or I can actually put them in the oven and bake them as well. So all I'm doing right now is letting these cook just a little bit on each side, flipping them, keeping them nice and golden. Now this one didn't decide to pillow too much. Kind of wished it did, but it'll be alright. Sometimes these things work really good, sometimes they don't. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and get another one rolled out, and we'll try it again to see if we can get that pillow to show you exactly what you're looking for. But again, this did it halfway. It doesn't mean that it's no good. Absolutely not. It's all edible. So let that cook. Go ahead and roll out another one, and we'll be right back. Okay, so again, we waited 30 seconds. Now we flip them. over, and I put them over here in a warm towel, or in a towel to keep them warm after I get these finished. So I'm just going to keep doing this process until each of these are done. And once I get these done, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make the sour cream and onion seasoning mix, show you a couple things you can do with that, and I will be working on what to do with my pita next. Alright y'all, so now we're going to do the dry mix for the sour cream and onion seasoning. You can add this to plain Greek yogurt, you can add this to sour cream and turn this into a dip, and supposedly you can add these to coat pita chips, tortillas, potato chips, anything to get that sour cream and onion flavor. We are about to find that out, but even so, this is the pre-starter mix for the sour cream and onion flavoring. So in here I have a 1/4 cup of powdered buttermilk. Now you can find the cultured powdered buttermilk like this. You can find this in the baking section of Walmart. So I happen to have found it there and grabbed me a container of it. Once it is open though, I will tell you it will have to be frozen or refrigerated. And this mix itself will have to be refrigerated as well. And it will last up to about a month. So after the 1/4 cup powdered buttermilk, we need 2 teaspoons of onion powder. So I'll get my measuring spoons out here, to which I did just have. Be right back. Okay y'all, I apologize about that. I thought I had everything in order. Sometimes that happens to me. Alright, so I need 2 teaspoons, and I'm using our fresh dehydrated onion powder. The same thing with the garlic powder. I need a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. Again, this is our fresh blend. I need 2 teaspoons of dried dill. 1 and 2. And I need 1 teaspoon of dried parsley. Parsley. A 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Like so. And 2 tablespoons of grated Parmesan. Now I am actually using the store-bought dried mixed stuff here. Otherwise I'd use fresh. Something like this. I just want to use this one. I'm not particularly fan of this. I prefer the fresh. But on a mix like this, I'm just going to go with this mix here. It doesn't matter. So now I'm going to mix this up very well, and we'll be back and get our pitas situated and ready. Okay, so now that I've got this mix, which by the way I tasted it, in my opinion, oh, Lord have mercy, I didn't make enough. This is definitely a go-to. I could see this in popcorn. It tastes absolutely amazing, at least to me. So I will definitely keep this recipe, y'all. And I would encourage you to go ahead and make your own. I don't think you will regret this one. So this, if you didn't do it with the yogurt or sour cream to make a dip, you can definitely sprinkle this on popcorn, on chips, anything of the such. Even if you wanted to sprinkle this on a baked potato, y'all, this is amazing stuff. So I'm going to store this in my jar. I'm going to seal it off, and I will be putting it in my refrigerator, working on my pitas next so that I can flavor them, so I can make my chips to snack on. So, and I will show you how I do that, and then we will conclude this video. So we will be right back. Okay y'all, so when it comes to making our pita chips, I am going to take our fresh pitas that we had made today, and I'm actually going to cut these in half. And then from there, I'm going to be cutting them continue to keep cutting these in halves until I basically make this chip like so. Now some of this will crumble because that's the way it was when I made them. So I'm going to keep making these until I get enough to make a batch. Now when I said that they puffed up and have like a sandwich effect, these are the 2 pieces that I have. So I can choose to divide these in half and make 2, or I can keep them whole just like this, and that's probably what I'm going to do, is keep these whole. And then I'm going to be baking these, frying these, or even air frying these. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to keep making these, and I will be right back with you. I will also tell you, if you did not want to make chips out of these, if you wanted to just use this for a meal, you can definitely use this to fill in like a sandwich. Another option that you can do with these is tear them, dip them in olive oil with seasoning of salt, pepper, some Italian seasoning, maybe some oregano or basil, and dip it into your olive oil mixture. That makes a great side dish. Instead of bread, you can use pita. You can also turn around and bake these afterwards with garlic and olive oil. Make that mixture, heat up your garlic and olive oil, mince up your garlic, brush it, and then sprinkle it with some parsley. Put it in the oven and bake them till just about crisp, and you can have some garlic and herb or garlic butter flavored type of pita mixes. So that's another way of eating it on the side. So now I'm going to go ahead and finish off my pita, and I will be right back. Alright, so I have 4 pitas now that I had cut into chips, and the other 4 I'm going to freeze. So now I'm going to take and lightly coat on both sides all of my pita chips with olive oil. Some of that got a little too much, so I can basically tap some of these and coat the others, so we're not wasting any of this and not all these have too much on one side. Now, if you are diabetic or if you are doing low carb, a couple ideas you can do to make these is, one, Walmart sells a bread source that we have used. We've even turned it into a very thin crust pizza. It's called lavish bread. Lavish bread will do an amazing job at making a wrap pita chips like this, or we've used them for pizza crust. There's many ways that you can use them as well as just this. So that would be an option. They do now make, it seems, a keto pita. You can do the same thing with this as well. So you don't have to miss out on any of this either. You can choose to make these, air fry them. I am fixing to bake these in a 350 degree oven. And so you can do the same with yours, and still my husband and I can enjoy a chip together. I like to make diced up avocados with tomatoes. We use Roma tomatoes and dice them up. I'll add a little bit of onion, some sour cream or mayonnaise to the mix, add some garlic powder, mix it all up, and I'll make an avocado dip that it's healthy, it's super simple, really good to munch on. I will use these to eat with hummus, or I will have these with a fattoush salad. Let's see, a couple other things I can do with pita chips is just have them basically for a snack, plain as they are. So there's a lot of things you can do with them, and I prefer, technically it doesn't cost me half as much to just, except for time. Now it does take time to do this, and I understand that, but sometimes time, if it means saving on expenses, it's worth it to me. Again, I do believe in flavors, so I go with the time. And I believe in not using as much preservatives. I look at it this way. In years past, my greats, grandmothers and grandfathers, our ancestors so far down the line, didn't have the conveniences we have today. So am I too privileged to be able to do the things that they once did? Not really. I mean, yes, times have changed and the conveniences are there, but if I have an opportunity, I prefer to do this homemade because, again, like I said, there's no comparison when it comes to flavors. Eliminating all those chemicals out of my food and out of my body, I am willing to do what it takes to make sure that I have quality flavor food. And this would be it. So now I'm almost finished doing this. My oven is just about heated up, and we will pop these in and finish this off and show you what they look like when they're finished. Okay, y'all, so our pitas just came out of the oven a little while ago. I let them, as you can hear, they got a good crunch to them. And so we are ready now to season some of these, and we were going to be giving this a try. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of the sour cream and onion powder mix that we had made up, and I'm going to add this to a bowl. Well, use a fork and add this, or a spoon, add this mix to here. And then I'm going to add a few of my chips in here to coat it. You can use a freezer bag if you wanted to as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a few at a time. For right now, we're just going to try this. I'm going to do this with just a couple at a time. Try it and see how we like this. So I'm just going to coat them up a little bit. Once I get this coated, we will try this. Now, let's see how close we come to the sour cream and onions that we buy from the grocery store, basically. Also, just to let you know, I do have recipes. I actually have a cookbook that has all the snack stuff and everything, including Doritos, from nacho cheese to Cool Ranch. I think I'll be sharing these with y'all too. And see if everybody would like to be able to try the homemade versions versus the store-bought. So let's give this a try and see what it's like. So my evaluation on that was phenomenal. It tastes so close to sour cream and onion. To me, I think it tastes even better. So I am going to encourage you to try this. I will put the recipe in the description box below for you as far as making this seasoning mix, and that way you can make them anytime you want to. You can turn this in with potato chips if you want, tortilla chips, pita chips. I could see this being done sprinkled on top of potatoes and so many other things. I could see you using this as in a dip for all these other things as well. So that will include this video, y'all. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, again, remember, put in the comments below, please. I am looking at doing foods from across the world, and if there is a favorite that you have missed, that you enjoyed, such as a lady who shared her experience with me in Turkey when she went and had some meat. So share these with me and let's have some fun. I will be the girl that cooks this for you, figures out the recipe, and I will give you that recipe, show you step by step, and you'll be able to enjoy your favorite foods once again. So until next time, much, much love from Parton's Heritage Homestead.